In this tutorial, I'm going to take you through the process of editing Blackboard content. I'll start by showing you how to change content that already exists. For instance, in Cluster 1, Topic 1. It may be that I need to update the content on this page. To do so, I need to turn Edit Mode on. And then as I hover over the topic heading, a little drop-down menu appears. I can click on this and click on Edit in order to bring up the Blackboard editor. You'll notice as I scroll the screen down, this is very much like a primitive word processor. You've got some of the standard formatting features you'd expect, and you can edit all of the text that you see here within the editor itself. So I can add new text. I might choose to make this bold or italics. I can choose to dot point text if I want to, and if I've got another dot point, I just hit return. And so fairly quickly you can edit up text in very simple fashion with the tools that are available just within the editor. You don't need to go out to other software to do that. You can do it just on screen. As you make the changes that you want, you can scroll to the bottom and hit submit, and that will save those changes for you. So now when we look back to the content, you can see our change resources here and here. So the edit process is fairly straightforward. More importantly, however, you're looking to develop up your own content for clusters 3 and 4. So let's spend a bit more time looking at that process. I'll navigate into, for instance, cluster 3. I've put some starting materials here, a brief description of the cluster, and a placeholder for various topics. You'll notice that here it requires a topic number and an appropriate title. So let me add that now. Again, I can, from the drop-down menu, choose the Edit option. Give it an appropriate number. I'm just going to put a nonsense title in at the moment. I happen to know I'm going to need this topic title again later on, so I'm going to choose to select that text and hit Control C for copy so that I don't need to retype it. And then a very brief one-sentence description about what the topic will cover. When you're happy with that, you hit Submit. So you can see those changes have been made. Now let's navigate into that topic in order to add the content itself. So here we are. I've provided to you effectively a template in which you can enter your own information. Again, in order to edit this, we choose from the drop-down menu the Edit option. Now you might recall that I'd previously copied the topic title, so I can now paste it into the relevant sections. First here, Control V is a shortcut for paste, and also here. And then I can start to add my own content. Now my own personal preference is to add this content directly into Blackboard rather than copy and paste from Word, and I'll explain that more in just a little moment. But let me show you first off how to do it directly in the editor. And it's using many of the skills that I briefly showed you in the previous tutorial. You can simply start to type into these boxes the information as it's appropriate. As we scroll down the screen, there's an area for activities to live. And over to the right-hand column, you can indicate the number of hours you expect those activities to take. So I'm going to put a number into there. Now, the convention is to number the activities. This gives students, I guess, a tracking point so they can track their progress through them. So I've got effectively placeholders for that. And you can now replace this with your own activities. So it might be, for instance, a discussion activity. And then you would put some description about what that activity was. Sometimes that description is short, sometimes it's long. And a quick tip that you might want to use here, and also works, by the way, in Microsoft Word and other editors, is in a numbered list like this, quite often we actually want more text than just one line. However, we hit return and automatically it bumps down the numbering and throws it out. I don't want a new number, I just want to add additional detail to the first number, number 1. And the way I can get myself a new line without buggering up the numbers is to hit the shift key and hit enter or return, and you'll notice now I have a new line and I can put additional description on that second line and third line should I need to. So that's just a little handy hint for later. An area about how the activities above relate to the assessment. Students really seek that. They want to know that the activities that they're doing have a meaningful output to their assessment. So I think it's a really important statement to include, and be as specific as you can there. And then some supporting resources. Now those resources can be a range of formats. They might be documents that you've prepared, they may be websites, they may be PowerPoints, they may be YouTube videos, etc. So there's a whole range of potentials here, but let me show you how to add some examples. A classic example is a link to an external website, something like the ABC website. So I'm just first of all going to put some placeholder text. Now prior to starting the recording, I actually in another browser window navigated to the ABC site, so I can simply copy the link there, Control C, and then navigate back into Blackboard in order to make this a link. So what I'm going to do is highlight the words which I want to become the link. I'm going to click on the little globe symbol. That's the symbol that Blackboard uses to indicate a hyperlink. And now I can paste, Control V, the link that I previously copied. I do want it to open in a new browser window, so I leave that alone and I hit submit. It might also be that you want to upload a file from your computer. So to do that, you click on the icon that is attached file that has a little sort of paper clip across a page. We can now use the Browse My Computer option to find a file that lives on your computer. Now I'm on a Mac, the screens look slightly different here, but navigate to the appropriate files and folder as you normally would, and then you can select the file for upload. In this section here you can give it a descriptive title. It guesses the title from the file name and you can choose to change that or leave that as it is, and then hit the submit button. And you'll notice a little progress bar running along the bottom showing you how long that upload will take. So the file has now uploaded and I can hit the submit button, and you'll notice that that becomes a link. Another technique that you might want to do is to break these sections up with subheadings. In order to do that, you can put in some text that will become a heading. Highlight that text, and then from this little drop down menu here, choose the appropriate heading style. The smaller the number, the larger the font. Heading 1's are the biggest fonts, heading 2 smaller, and so it goes down. And something like heading 3 is appropriate here. And you'll notice that by choosing that heading style, it's actually picked up the color schemes and fonts. Now earlier in the piece I had warned against copy and paste from Microsoft Word. I'll explain that now in a bit more detail and show you a workaround that allows you to do it. I just want to first of all show you what happens if you just simply copy and paste from Word. As we look at this text, it's, I guess, indicative of what a standard document might have. It might have some paragraph text, some bullet points, perhaps a link, maybe a numbered list. There might be some colors and different fonts. And if we were to copy that as is into Blackboard, some surprising things happen. So I'm going to hit copy that, Control C, and paste, Control V. And what I've got in Blackboard doesn't really represent what I copied. You'll notice all the formatting's out, the bullet points don't appear as they ought to, the numbered lists are all out of whack. This is actually a common bugbear with Microsoft Word. When it copies and pastes, it copies a whole lot of under the surface formatting that you never get to see, but actually impacts on Blackboard and a whole range of other applications. And so instead of that, there is a process to do it in a cleaner manner. So now I'll quickly undo the damage that I've done. Control Z is the undo shortcut, and show you how you can achieve the same outcome but in a cleaner way. So here's my Word document again. I'm going to copy it as you saw me do previously. Move that out of the way. Blackboard is aware that people will want to copy and paste from Word, so it's added some functionality to achieve that, and it's underneath this Add Mashup tool. If I choose that, they've provided a paste from Word feature because they know that copying and pasting from Word causes issues. So I'm going to paste Control V, the same text that you saw previously, and then I'm going to click this little button which looks like a sweeper. It will clean up the underlying code that you never get to see. So to our eyes nothing changed, but it removed all of that bogus formatting that Microsoft Word includes, so that now when we hit the submit button and we look at that material now in Blackboard, it's much cleaner and it's much more representative of what you wanted. So the formatting is there, the bullet points have arrived, the links are there, but all of that yucky, messy formatting has gone away, and so it appears properly within Blackboard. So the takeaway from that is, where you can, develop directly to Blackboard to avoid any of these issues, but where you have pre-existing material in Word, ensure that you always use that paste from Word option to get rid of the gremlins. So that's it for this tutorial. In the next one I'll be showing you how to add videos and images and it's more of the advanced functionality.